Started. So welcome everybody to Debunking the Myths About Digital Real Estate. This is my first LinkedIn audio event, and I was hoping that there would be no technological difficulties and that LinkedIn would cooperate, but we did run into some challenges. I do want to give thanks to Mike Asherbranner. He is my LinkedIn coach and the founder of the Hounds Business Community on LinkedIn, and he's built an incredible professional community of like-minded people. I'm Jeffrey E. Berger, Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, as of last Saturday, which includes a holistic coach certification, taking a finance-first approach to achieving all-encompassing personal well-being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. Exploring diverse paths opens the door to true wealth in every sense. As a global ambassador for an innovative company revolutionizing the future of real estate through digital technology, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide. My mission goes beyond business by providing global-minded entrepreneurs with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent the system and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. It's about creating opportunities, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has a chance to thrive. We're here today to talk about debunking the myths about digital real estate, which is merely the concept of fractional ownership, where you own a fraction of a high-end hotel, resort, or luxury apartments. My very special guest today is Dr. Tahir Hussain. He is with us today from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and he is no stranger when it comes to real estate. He is a self-made millionaire at the age of 27. In the real estate space, and in 2020, he added digital real estate, and since then he has built an 8-figure plus portfolio. Dr. Tahir is a peak sales trainer, author, international speaker, real estate developer, investor, and the founder of The Unstoppable Millionaire. Welcome, Dr. Tahir Hussain.
Thank you, Dr. Jeffrey. It is such a delight to be here on your very first LinkedIn audio interview, and let's get started.
Absolutely. So you have been involved with real estate for most of your life, and becoming a multimillionaire at the age of 27. Congratulations on that achievement. But share a little bit about your passion for this industry.
So real estate in general is something I absolutely adore and love for many reasons. One, we all most likely listening to this are in the real estate right now, whether we lease it or own it. It belongs to someone. That someone could be you. The world population is growing over time, and that requires more and more housing. So that's happening at the same time. So that is real estate. And the third, and one of my favorites, is that it is one of those very rare asset classes on the planet against which a financial institution, in specific banks, would lend you a considerable amount of money. It's one of the highest financial payouts against a particular asset class. That would be real estate. So these are some conventional methodologies on why real estate and why, and of course, real estate is a multi-trillion dollar industry across the planet, which makes it so unique, and it is a hedge against inflation, currency devaluation, and the list goes on and on. So one of my goals in creating millionaires is creating wealth, and a part of creating wealth is allowing people to either own entire or fractions of assets across the world.
Absolutely. And that is why I'm with you, and you are my wealth coach. So thank you for that so much. And in 2019 and 2020, your interest kind of shifted to include digital real estate. So share what has been your experience to date over the last several years to where, and then also where do you see this going in the future?
Thank you. So in 2019, I was given an opportunity to look at physical real estates and how those real estates can actually be fractionally owned. And it was an idea at that time with the company we are with. And fast forward 2 years, that then became a living reality where blockchain technologies in specific Ethereum-based blockchain technology allows people today to own fractions of millions and millions of dollars of assets globally, to own through the comfort of your home, regardless of which part of the planet you live in. Now, if you have ever owned a real estate, you'd realize that you don't own real estate through the click of a button, and that is one of the things that fractional ownership does. It just makes ownership so much easier, but it does much more than that. So imagine a company that owns millions of dollars in real estate, and that's the unfair advantage currently companies have around the world, that when you buy one apartment and when you buy 100 apartments, the deal is not the same. Yet when you rent it, yet when you sell it, you still get the market price. So common man doesn't, or a woman doesn't stand a chance to tap into that profitability. But what if there are companies out there that could give you that opportunity to tap into millions of dollars in real estate? You could own a fraction of that asset, enjoy the rentals, enjoy the appreciations, simply because they got the unfair advantage of owning so much across the world. And to make it easier, blockchain comes in to make it a lot easier. It happens through blockchain, through internet. And fast forward from 2021 till today, this is happening. In fact, it is going to happen in the next couple of years to decades in a way where a lot of people would be owning fractional ownership of multi-million and multi-billion dollar assets across the world, because this trend will eventually uh, kick on with a lot of developers around the world as well.
Awesome. And yeah, the idea, I never imagined that I would be a fractional owner in several properties, and it's been a very unique experience. And yeah, the click of a button, boom, no signing papers and all these deals with banks, so forth and so on. So the process is very, very easy. So next, we've got the metaverse, and this is really beginning to take the world by storm. And for those who don't know what the metaverse is, it's it's new. It's a loosely defined term that's referring to virtual worlds in which users are represented by avatars, and then they react, or excuse me, they interact, usually in a 3D space and focused on social and economic connections. Our Demeta project recently has been featured in U.S. Times Now, Yahoo Finance, Markets Insider, to list a few. Can you share what the buzz is all about and how there is a connection with this and the digital real estate space?
Absolutely. There are three or four questions right there. So let's start with metaverse. So in simple terms, metaverse is basically internet when going live. You're living in the internet. In a layman's term, I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible. Think of a movie, think of an animated movie that you love, and imagine you are one of the characters inside the movie, not watching it from a distance, but in the movie. That's what metaverse is. It's a total immersion of a virtual experience, which feels very real. Whether you connect with friends, do conference calls, work, play, study, or shop. So that's metaverse, just in a quick few words. Now, in the metaverse, I'll give you an aspect of real estate. One, we have the digital real estate, which basically means that this real estate just exists within the metaverse. It's digital, it doesn't exist when you remove your goggles off, when you remove your virtual reality goggles off, right? So
Right.
that's one, but I'm not going to get much into that, but it exists. What I'm excited about is that how could we take a physical real estate, a brick and mortar building, hotel, resort, service apartments, and turn that and put that into the metaverse, whether it is ready or even before it is ready. So, someone sitting in Africa or someone sitting in America, because we have an audience from the United States as well, thinking of Zanzibar as a place in Africa, and they put their metaverse goggles on and they could actually feel what an actual place in Zanzibar looks like. That's mind-boggling. Think of the limitations that it removes when it comes to developers who start building because of the metaverse. And these are all scale diagrams, all actual drawings that are approved by the government in most cases before they get constructed, right? But they are
Right.
also now in your metaverse. You can see them before they're even ready. Not visualize them by closing your eyes, but by keeping your eyes open in the metaverse. You're totally immersed in that environment. Could be a resort on a beach, could be you are on a boat off that resort on a beach, and you could be in your penthouse, or you could be in a glamp, or could be any of that stuff. So imagine that. Now imagine you as an owner of one of the properties, doesn't matter where the property is, deciding what interior should go in, where the bed should go in, what the color of the wall should be, and if you mess it up, you can clear it all up and set it up all again. So these are some of the future applications of what metaverse would do in the real estate arena at the same time. And right now, the fact that you could put goggles on and be in Zanzibar, in Africa, on the beach, and have a similar feeling. The sound of the waves and the birds that literally fly in that continent and region, and see the resort that is not yet ready but under construction. Your own apartment, perhaps, physical apartment that you might own in Africa, getting ready in the metaverse before it gets ready. So that gives you a whole different sense of vision in terms of real estate and where real estate is going in the context of metaverse. And this is the start of what metaverse, when it comes to properties, would look like. Just the start. This is not the end. Internet in 1997, 1998 was the start of what internet would look like in the world we live today. So just imagine, if this is the start, where does it end? So sky is the
Exactly.
limit, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
so
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 let me just add real quick to you talk about the Zanzibar, and I actually got to see Zanzibar through the goggles when I was in Istanbul, because I am a fractional owner of this exquisite hotel and resorts, and I was able to see. I was actually on the boat, or I was in the rooms of the gondola, or the glamps that we have that are on the property, but then also on the boat, and that virtual reality. I was, felt that motion of the boat looking at the full phase one of the resort. So it was really a very unique experience.
absolutely, and you know how that water felt for you, because that was one of your first few rare experiences. It felt real enough, isn't it?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Lovely. So that is what metaverse does, a total immersion like never before, especially if you're new in this space, in the real estate space, definitely. This is a new frontier that's being worked on. And Jeffrey, you mentioned about some big media names, Yahoo Finance, MSNBC, Business Insider, and a couple of others, about the metaverse articles that came out with the one metaverse. And the idea is that a lot is going on in the gaming world in the metaverse.
Right.
So that is where people sometimes don't take it seriously. When I say people, I was one of those people 2 years ago. But the applications are limitless. Just like we thought the internet was for the geeks in the 90s, and we thought only a few computer software engineers would be using it, and look how wrong we were about that. That a kid today who is 3 years old is probably using internet, if not sooner than that, and the entire planet is on the internet today. Similarly, the metaverse is not just for gaming. It might start from there. We have a lot of those out there, but the metaverse will have diverse applications. One of them would be education itself. We believe that that's an untapped industry where a lot of work is being done by the one Ilmers, and you will see a lot going on in that space, because that is an industry where we want to equip and empower the next generation with the latest technology that is available to mankind through metaverse, through those VR goggles, as we expand. And again, I know some of you are thinking of technology, that technology could be an enemy. Technology never is the enemy. Technology is the way you grow forward, because some people associate risks with metaverse. Some people associate risks with the very social media we are on right now. So it is the usability of that technology which is in the hands of human being that will determine if we would abuse, misuse, or use it creatively, in a creative fashion. So
Right.
that's another aspect of the metaverse, that use it wisely.
Awesome. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So we talk about technologies, and what we're really learning today is about the technologies that are being developed today, and directly underneath our feet, that will be changing the ways of the future, 3 to 5 to 10 plus years down the road, just like Amazon, Apple, Netflix did in their respective industries back in the day. As we're here today to really debunk the myths about digital real estate, can you provide 3 nuggets to our listeners today that will help clear the air about any confusion around real estate moving towards and into, or moving forward, I should say, into the digital world space?
Absolutely. Firstly, a digital world space or anything that is new is usually not for the faint-hearted. Always remember that something that is new always starts with resistance, right? So
Right.
you get to decide on the applications of the technology that would benefit you, instead of hurt you. So that's really important. Don't go where the masses flow, because that eventually will come in big numbers later on. The same happened with social media. So before I debunk the myths, I thought that that is important to understand. Okay, next, what's important is, people do not think the digital part of a physical asset or digital ownership amounts to too much, because it's just digital. I can't touch it. I can't feel it. And the idea is that's not true. It is true if the asset itself is digital, like the digital real estate that doesn't exist outside the metaverse. I agree that, but that's what we're talking about. Right now, we're talking about a physical asset that is digitalized through fractional ownership. That is real. How real it is? When the property appreciates in value, your digital asset appreciates in value, whether it's a token or an NFT. And if you have time, we can get into that too. What is a token and what is an NFT? So that's the appreciation. Let me take it a step forward. In a physical asset, you rent a property, you enjoy the rentals. Guess what? The same happens with fractional ownership. The property gets rented, whatever your fraction share is of that property, you enjoy rentals, whether it is monthly, quarterly, annually, you get those rentals. So because there's almost zero competition, when there are companies out there leading with this, with the forefront, hence the debunking that a digital is not real. A digital is very real. A digital is as real as the actual asset, but you have to make sure when you buy a digital real estate, it is backed by an actual asset. You're more than welcome to go and check the asset out. You don't have to worry about the rental headache. You don't have to worry about building the asset. You're owning a fraction of that asset. It appreciates in value. Your asset increases. It gets rented. You enjoy a cash flow in rentals. And the other part is that who's going to buy? NFTs alone are worth multi-billion dollars, at least $18 billion industry. Yes, they're not as big as the conventional real estate industry, but that would be an unfair comparison. Conventional real estate has existed for thousands of years. Digital real estate or fractional ownership of real estate has existed for a couple of years. So that's an unfair comparison, but $18 billion is not a small amount either. So I hope these pointers allow you to understand that owning a physical asset that is fractionalized is literally as real as owning an actual asset. And I gave you three good examples why so.
You did indeed, and what I love about this is that the token, the NFT, or the coin that is associated with our ecosystem, they're all backed by real world asset, which is digital real estate at this particular point, and we will be expanding that ecosystem down the road. So it is a different, we're not a cryptocurrency company. We are a real world asset company, which really makes a significant difference. So with that, we're wrapping up towards the end here, and I want to leave a couple of minutes for our guests if they want to ask any questions. If you can, I believe you can raise your hand, and then I can invite you into the speaking room to ask your question. Are there any questions from Robert or Homer? Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions. So let me just ask you, well, before I ask you the very, very last question, on Saturday, September 21st, there's going to be a webinar scheduled for 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the information is shared in the comments for the invitation of this audio interview. And it is posted on my featured section on LinkedIn, where you can register for this Saturday's session to get more details about who we are, what we're doing, and why we're doing what we're doing. So if you'd like to check that, register for this Saturday, the 21st, or there are some other dates that are on the calendar in the future if there's a calendar conflict for you on this Saturday. But my last question to you, Dr. Tatir, is if there is one piece of information that you could share with those who are still on the fence about moving forward with a unique opportunity that is going to revolutionize the world, what would that be?
Jeffrey, could you repeat that question for a couple of seconds? I lost your voice.
Sure, no problem. If there were one piece of advice or information that you could share with those who are on the call today, who might be on the fence about moving forward with a unique opportunity that is going to revolutionize the world, what would that be?
Being an educator, lovely question, by the way, Dr. Jeffrey. So being an educator myself, my biggest advice is that get educated about what you want to learn. And don't just get educated from the people who are literally getting their hands dirty to create pioneering effects in that particular industry. So get educated from the best. But before getting educated, keep an open mind. A closed mind is good for nothing. The closed mind could be your biggest enemy. Can you imagine how I felt being a conventional real estate owner, an investor for over 20 years, and a developer? That someone comes and tells me about digital asset. The rule is, and my book speaks about that, keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Hear someone out. If someone comes with a merit, hear them out with an open mind. Because if you have a closed mind, it will not take you anywhere. But they should come with a merit. They should earn your trust based on merit, based on what they've achieved in life, right? Because unfortunately, there is enough noise, especially on these platforms we are on. Everyone thinks they are the expert and they know everything about everything. Unfortunately, a lot of that is not true. So be authentic, give credit to the person who comes with knowledge, look at the history, but then keep an open mind and listen. Once you listen, then don't be scared to take some kind of an action. The only reason I became a millionaire at the age of 27 was because someone wanted me to do something I was uncomfortable doing because I was scared. I still remember when I was doing properties, someone looked at me and said, "You're selling a couple of $1 million properties. Why do you do these small, small things?" And in my mind, that was such big things, selling multi-million-dollar properties. And that individual looking at me, talking to me, said, "These are small things." I couldn't understand what he meant. So I said, "What do you mean small things? What are big things?" He says, "Try selling a couple of buildings worth hundreds of millions of dollars." It became very real. And that question that I asked, that statement that he said, no matter how bad I felt in the moment of it, was for my own betterment, for my own growth. That completely changed the trajectory of me at the age of 24. That's when I was told this. And at the age of 27, I landed becoming a millionaire, followed by a multi-millionaire at the age of 28. So the lesson is learn, get educated, listen to people who are better than you, who have better experiences, and then take action, right? You have every right to ask questions, great, because questions allow you to learn, but then take action. That's my advice, Jeff.
That's perfect. And I just want to add to this that 2 years ago, I was introduced, July 2022 was when I was introduced to this concept. And I was skeptical. I wasn't cynical, but I was skeptical. But it took me 2 months to really do my due diligence. And you were part of that, that discovery and due diligence portion. And I like what you said about, really listening to people who are doing it and having success with it, which is what you are having built an 8+ figure digital real estate portfolio. So I want to thank you for spending the time today from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and sharing your wisdom.